Single mom gets left on her wedding day, until her CEO boss said, "Pretend I'm the groom." The church bells rang anyway. They rang even though Mara Collins stood at the front pew with a bouquet trembling in her hands, her veil sliding crooked as whispers crawled through the chapel like ants. They rang even though the man she was supposed to marry hadn't answered his phone in 6 hours. They rang even though her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, tugged on the hem of her white dress and whispered, "Mommy, is Daddy coming?" Mara swallowed hard. "He will," she lied, because sometimes motherhood meant lying beautifully. 20 minutes earlier, the text had arrived. "I can't do this. I'm sorry. Please don't look for me." That was it. No explanation. No apology that could be held. Just a digital door slammed shut. Mara had been left before, by Lily's biological father, who vanished the moment responsibility showed its teeth, but this was different. This was public. This was humiliating. This was happening in front of her parents, her coworkers, her friends, and an aisle lined with flowers she'd paid for in monthly installments. She felt small, exposed, stupid for believing again. Her maid of honor leaned in. "Mara, do you want to cancel?" Mara looked at Lily, at the way her daughter's curls bounced as she craned her neck, searching for a groom who would never appear. Canceling would mean walking back down that aisle alone. It would mean confirming everyone's worst fears, that single mothers should stop dreaming so loudly. Before she could answer, the heavy wooden doors at the back of the church creaked open. A hush fell. A tall man stepped inside, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, his expression unreadable but his posture unmistakably calm. Silver threaded his dark hair at the temples. His presence carried weight, the kind that came from boardrooms and decisive meetings. Ethan Cross, her boss, the CEO of Cross Tech Solutions. Mara's heart slammed into her ribs. What is he doing here? Ethan's eyes found hers instantly. He took in the chaos, the empty aisle, the fallen flower girl basket, the tears Mara had tried and failed to hide. Then he walked forward, steady and unhurried, until he stood beside her. He leaned down and spoke softly, so only she could hear. "Pretend I'm the groom." Mara blinked. "What? Your daughter is watching," he said gently. "And so is everyone else." Her mind raced. This was insane. Ethan Cross was composed, brilliant, untouchable. He barely smiled at office parties. He signed her paychecks. He was not supposed to be standing at the altar of her ruined wedding. "I can't ask you to do that," she whispered. "You didn't," he replied. "I'm offering." The officiant cleared his throat, unsure. The guests murmured. Lily looked up at Ethan with wide eyes. "Are you marrying my mommy?" Ethan crouched to her level, his voice warm. "If your mommy says it's okay." All eyes turned to Mara. In that moment, humiliation burned hotter than fear. She thought of every time she'd been abandoned. Every time she'd had to be strong because there was no other choice. She lifted her chin. "Okay," she said. "Let's do it." The ceremony was surreal. Ethan slipped the ring, her ring, onto her finger with steady hands. When the officiant pronounced them married, the church erupted into applause, relief louder than confusion. Ethan kissed her cheek, not her lips, and whispered, "Breathe. You're doing great." At the reception, the story spread like wildfire. Some thought it was romantic. Others thought it was staged. Mara didn't care. She danced with Lily. She laughed. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like she was falling. Later that evening, as guests filtered out and the band packed up, Mara found Ethan on the terrace overlooking the city lights. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "You don't have to," he replied. "But we should talk." She nodded. "About this?" "Yes. About the fact that legally, we're married." She nearly choked. "You're serious?" "I am," he said calmly. "I spoke to the officiant. It was binding." Mara stared at the skyline. "This is insane." "Maybe," Ethan said, "but it doesn't have to be permanent." They agreed on a quiet, respectful arrangement. A temporary marriage, no romance, no office complications, 6 months, then an annulment. Enough time to let the scandal fade. But life doesn't care about agreements. Ethan started staying for dinner. At first for Lily, helping with homework, reading bedtime stories in different character voices that made her giggle. Mara watched him soften in her small apartment, sleeves rolled up, tie discarded, laughing in a way she'd never seen at work. At the office, he defended her ideas more fiercely, trusted her with bigger projects. Listened. One night, when Lily was asleep and rain tapped against the windows, Mara admitted, "I'm scared this is just another illusion." Ethan looked at her, truly looked. "I'm scared too," he said. But I don't run when things get hard. She realized then that he never had. The annulment papers sat unsigned. 6 months passed. Then 7. On a quiet Sunday morning, Lily climbed into their bed and declared, "I like our family." Mara felt Ethan's hand cover hers. "So do I," he said. This time, when he kissed her, it wasn't pretend. And the bells rang again, months later, in a small garden ceremony, only this time, no one was missing. No one was running. And Mara Collins walked down the aisle not as a woman afraid of being left, but as one who finally chose someone who stayed.